It is finally here, guys. The brand new Mazda CX-5. This is most likely Mazda's most important model to refresh because it's been around for, I do believe, maybe 9 years or so, the old one. And it is their best-selling SUV. I think maybe their best-selling vehicle overall. Now, I made a video on this when they showed some spy photos of this, and I said, I'm worried Mazda will mess up specifically this interior to put a bunch of screens in there, remove the buttons, and I mean, overall, I like this refresh, but could have been better? Yes, it could have been better for sure. Specifically with the interior, we're going to have a look at that, of course. I'm going to compare it in design from the front, side, and rear, and also the interior in Photoshop, as we always do here. Later in the video. First of all, let's have a look at this Car Scoops article and let's check this out. So Mazda gave the CX-5 a makeover but saved the real surprise for later. I'm going to link this down below as always as well. Mazda has introduced the 2026 CX-5 ahead of its launch early next year. Larger, of course, than its predecessor in sports and modernized design. My question is, doesn't it feel like every single new car that comes out and replaces a current model, they always get larger, and this is, substantially larger than the old CX-5. I'm just wondering, where is this going to stop? I was driving to play tennis the other day, and I saw a Volvo V70 cross country, the first generation, from I don't know, maybe late 90s or something like that, and I just compared it to other cars around it, normal looking SUVs, and the Volvo looked tiny. I mean, cars has grown so much over the past decades that we're gonna have to redesign the infrastructure, which is the roads and everything like that, to be able to fit these big vehicles. And this is just a CX-5. Then you got the CX-9 maybe or something like that coming out later. It's gonna be even larger. So you do have the same 187 horsepower engine comes standard, while a hybrid option will arrive in 2027. I think I would probably personally wait for the hybrid. Mazda has always done great hybrids. So the crossover has generated over 4.5 million sales since its launch in 2012. That includes over 1.6 million units in the United States, where it's the brand's best-selling vehicle by a considerable margin. So it is a very, very important model. Now, Mazda, the CX-5 has been neglected over the past years, specifically with the refresh of the CX-50 and the new CX-70 and the CX-90. However, I reviewed the current generation in person a couple of months back, and I said I hope Mazda don't refresh the CX-5 at all, because I just wanted to keep going as it is. I think it's a fantastic vehicle, even though it is getting pretty dated. So Mazda is now addressing the issue with the third generation CX-5, which features an evolved Kodo design language. That is in Mazda's language. There's an expressive fascia with a signature wing grille. You got angular headlights. You can see them right here, looking very nice. Sportier bumper as well, with the more pronounced air intakes. And what I like about Mazda with their intakes, they never do anything fake. I can't think of one Mazda model that has a fake vent on it. I love to see it. We don't need it. It just messes up. It complicates the design in an unnecessary way. And I love Mazda's design language. We have new styling here for the shoulder line. We're going to talk more about that in a minute as well. So there's an edgier shoulder line as well as longer rear doors to help rear passengers get in and out more easily. Now, looking at this design, I mean, it's definitely an evolution of the Kodo design language. I think the exterior design is absolutely beautiful. I think also this is the soul red color, the only color you want to have a Mazda in, because it's such a unique color, and this deep red metallic design surface finish for the color, looking great. You can clearly see the connection to the CX-70 and the CX-90. I actually think these taillights look better than we have on the 90 and the 70. A little bit different design, specifically in the end point right here. I also like that it says Mazda in the middle now, instead of having the logo there. I mean, it's a beautiful looking car to me. I think it's stunning. So the rear end features a mix of soft curves and flowing surfaces, and that is exactly what the Kodo design language is all about. It's a play with empty surfaces. If you walk around a Mazda and it's sunny outside, a Miata or a Mazda 3, you can see the flow of this reflections, beautiful, specifically in the side view. We do have some new sharp edges here, a weird line here in the front end door, looking pretty strange. Now you do have a liftgate, now features Mazda lettering instead of the emblem, as we talked about. Love to see it. We can also see dual exhaust system. Great Mazda, we have symmetry in the back. I want to see that in every single vehicle. Gloss black accents and available 19-inch wheels. And yes, we do have black wheels. Again, I hope this trend will eventually be phased out. I'm sick of seeing black wheels on every single new vehicle. I can't even see what the rims, what the wheel design looks like in this image, because it's all black. It's just a black hole there. So the CX-5 is significantly larger than its predecessor. It's 4.5 inches longer. The wheelbase grows by 3 inches, and width is up by over half an inch. So 4.5 inches longer. It's a big deal. It's a lot bigger than the old one. So the interior here, as you can see, again, we're gonna go into detail in a minute, but thankfully this is great. We have no weird iPad, small little iPad here as the gauge cluster. We have a clean housing for it. Love to see it. It spells out Mazda in the middle here as well. And then we have this massive, 15.6 inch infotainment screen. This is the thing that I would like to change. So you have a minimalist revamp, 15.6 inch infotainment screen. You have a 12.9 inch touchscreen for the standard CX-5. This is an optional screen right here. Google built in the infotainment system. Unfortunately, Mazda has decided to embrace a strategic reduction of buttons. Not sure what exactly the strategy is to reduce the buttons, and that is one key thing I did not want to see happen for the new CX-5, but unfortunately we don't have physical buttons for the climate settings anymore. I thought Mazda would hold on to that just a little longer, but unfortunately not. So it's the biggest display ever installed in a Mazda. According to Mazda Europe, entry-level models will get the smaller 12.9-inch touchscreen, and that is something that I would personally pay extra to get. I would not pay extra to get the bigger screen. I would actually pay extra to get the smaller screen. You have a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster that resides behind a new steering wheel with Mazda lettering. And now for the engines, you still have the same 2.5-liter Skyactiv G 4-cylinder producing 187 horsepower, 185 pound-feet of torque. That's the same output as the outgoing model, and the engine is still paired to a six-speed automatic transmission and standard all-wheel drive system. I think it's fine. I mean, why fix it if it ain't broke? You know, it's a great powertrain, maybe not the best when it comes to fuel economy. I can't really remember. I hope they increase the fuel tank, the capacity for the fuel tank. That is one problem Mazda always has. The range is about like 220 miles, 240 miles, because the fuel tank is so small in every single Mazda. I just wanted to make them a little bigger and increase the range. So you have an all-new hybrid powertrain will join the lineup in 2027. As I said, that is the one I would wait for. They say higher level of performance and fuel efficiency for that model. The interior still looks beautiful. I mean, very minimalist design, but still has a personality to it, exactly like I want to see. You can see the full interior right here with this brown and black interior. So it will arrive in the United States early next year and probably be a little bit more expensive than the current one, which starts at $28,770. So with that said, you know the deal. Let's jump into Photoshop here. Let's compare these two, the current one and the brand new Mazda CX-5. Let me show you and let me tell you what I think about this design. The old one, I think honestly, if you look at this design up top, this could 100% still be in production for another at least 5 years. In the front end. In the rear is where it's starting to get a little dated. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. But this is a beautiful looking design. The daytime run light sitting in here has some dynamic feel to it because it's thicker here going into a thinner piece. as you can see right there, and beautiful integrated grille as well. This gunmetal finish to it, dark gray, and we have no fake vents in the front end. The only intakes are the grille of course up top, and this cooling down low with this opening in the bottom, and we have a nice subtle styling feature right here in the side. But no, they could have added some black features here to make this, you know, a fake grille or intake, but they didn't do that. Instead, they just carved out a portion of the bodywork itself to create this design. I think it's a beautiful looking design, pretty timeless to me. Proportions are spot on as well. Now looking at the new one, it got a little, a lot more aggressive, I would say, specifically with the headlight design, because you can see now how angry this Mazda looks, and I think it looks great. We still have the separation. I love to see this, that we have a separation of this bodywork between the top half graphics steel and the lower half graphics in the bottom, and we still have this styling feature similar to what we have on the CX-70 specifically. The grille looks very similar as well. It looks like the grille is maybe a little longer and shorter in height, but the lower intake, as you can see, got a lot bigger than what we had in the current generation CX-5. You can see down here just how much bigger this intake got. I think the front end still has a clear Mazda look to it, and I love that they didn't do anything crazy with the hood. We still have one line right here going in, connecting to the corner of the grille up top, and a very horizontal line where everything, all the graphics just starts underneath. This is a good design. I mean, it's really nothing that I would like to change in the front end design. I think it's absolutely stunning, specifically again in this blood red exterior design color that we have right here. Now looking at the side view, I think this is, again, the proportions for this is beautiful, spot on. However, look at the shoulder line and the differences here. We have a shoulder line for the current one that has a broken shoulder line, meaning that we have this line here dipping down and then coming back as a muscle over the rear axle. The greenhouse perfectly proportioned for these types of SUVs and this size, and we have a nice line at the bottom carving out some of this volume in addition to the blacked out side skirt right there. Proportionally beautiful looking design. But looking at the new one, it gives me a little bit more Honda vibes now, which is not a bad thing necessarily, but having this one single shoulder line here, this to me is a little bit more Honda than Mazda for sure. But I do like that it connects exactly to the front end corner of the headlights and goes all the way back to the corner of the taillights right there. Beautiful. The greenhouse looks almost to be identical. Maybe we have a little bit more glass surface for the passengers. You can see in the old one, it dips pretty strongly here in this area, but in the new one, it feels like this piece of the roof is a little bit thinner and we have more window space for the passengers. Again, not a bad thing at all. Now, looking at the lower section, we have still the same blacked out side skirt in the lower section, and of course, the black wheels. The wheels is definitely these wheels I am not a fan of. These looks like some sort of test wheels, like some very cheap wheels. Does not look that pretty to me. I definitely prefer the old wheels up here, even though they're also black, of course. I'll probably just switch out the wheels altogether for this CX-5 and maybe, give the proportions justice and the design justice by giving it some nice shoes. Now we do have this line, which is a very interesting, just a cut line right here in the front door. But you can see the Coda design language. If you look at the reflections, very soft reflections here for the CX-5 in the previous or current generation. We still have that intact. So the Coda design language is still intact. It is, of course, an evolution over the current design language that Mazda has. But I don't think they stray too far away from their core identity when it comes to the Coda design language. I also like that the front end of the current one and also the new one is pretty much vertical, giving this almost stately look for the CX-5. I mean, proportionally, again, both of these are spot on. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think both of them are beautiful looking designs. Now, the biggest change, I would say, comes in the rear end, because the current generation of the CX-5, this is, in my opinion, where this car is starting to look a little dated to me, specifically when you look at the taillight design. I don't know, it just feels like it's been around for a while, and obviously it has, but we still have this German-style waterfall design going in from the taillights into the bumper like this, creating a solid bumper in the rear end. We have a nice blacked out graphics in the lower section. And do we have dual exhaust pipes for this? We don't have dual exhaust pipes on the current one. Only one exhaust pipe right here on the, I think that's probably the passenger side. And we also have this nice flow, again, as I said, with the bumper going in here. Proportionally, again, looking beautiful. Styling-wise, beautiful looking design. It's just, it looks like a, you know, if you thought of the proportions of a small little SUV, these are the proportions that I want to see. Now, looking at the new one, this is a massive win for Mazda. This design looks so much more modern than the old one, and I think everything just comes together very, very nicely here. We still have, as you can see, a proper bumper here, and this waterfall design going into the bumper. We have a gloss black lower section right here, and thankfully they added the dual exhaust pipes. Even if you only have the base engine, I do believe you still get the dual exhaust pipes. Taillights looking extremely modern, very beautiful with the LEDs going in here, the daytime run lights and the brake lights right there. It looks to be the reverse light in this area and the indicator light right here. I also love that in the old one, you had the big Mazda logo right in the middle right here, but they switched that up in the new one. And this seems to be a trend right now to, instead of having the logo, companies are now spelling out the name of the brand like this. I think that gives it a little bit more elegant vibe to it, and this looks like a almost you know, a lot more expensive vehicle than what it actually is. The rear end just completely nails the package of this design. I really love what they did with the rear end design here. Now, looking last but not least, of course, for the to the interior. And this is where it gets a little tricky for me. Yes, it's a lot more minimalist in the new one. I think it was pretty minimalist in the old one as well. But honestly, for me, I think I actually prefer the old generation with this layout where you had the nice housing for the gauge cluster. And we still had analog tachometer here. We have a small little display for the speedometer and some information right here in the middle. Beautiful. And the fuel gauge on the side, temp gauge right there as well. And the key thing here is we had this section. This is what I did not want to see Mazda get rid of. Just this little control panel down there. Just take the same, well, I don't care. You don't have to redesign it. You can use the same tools, the same molding to create this. You don't need to add any extra cost. Just keep it as it is and implement that in the new one. But unfortunately, you can see we got a big, what was this, 15.4, 15.6 inch screen for the new CX-5. Looks way too big for me. I mean, it's so out of place in this otherwise very clean looking interior. And we don't have the buttons anymore, of course. And you can see that the screen, looking at the vents down low, it sits off center. So draw this up, center point of the vents down there. And you can see that the screen sits a little bit off center, and that is just a tad bit annoying and something that I would want to, I don't know what I want to do, because we can't move the screen to the left because then it's going to intrude on the start button and the steering wheel and all of that. So I don't know how to solve that issue. The best thing to do would probably to just shrink this screen down, and guess what? Have it exactly like we had in the current generation. Just have it in line here, even though this is not crap. This is not even centered in the previous one as well. I just noticed that. But this one, at least, they could have moved it a little bit to the right to make it centered in the middle. This is the portion that I miss in the new one, even though the new interior looks absolutely stunning. It's minimalist, but I still think it does have a personality to it. Not sure if these are actually buttons or these, you know, touch buttons that we have on the steering wheel. Hopefully they are proper buttons. I love this center portion that spells out Mazda instead of having the logo like we had in the old one, even though there's nothing wrong with the old one. But if I were to pick one of these interiors to sit in for a cross-country road trip, I would still go with the old one. And again, I would not pick this screen. I would not pay extra to get this 15-inch plus screen. I would actually go with the base screen of 12.6 inches, I do believe they said, even though maybe that is even too big. I think this screen up here is 10.25 or something like that. This is totally fine for me to have as a screen size. So let me know what you think about the new CX-5 down below. Do you think this is a win for Mazda? Or is there anything in this design that you would like to change? For me, the exterior design is spot on. Even though, as I said earlier through this video, I want to see the buttons return to the interior, and that is pretty much the only change I would like to see in the CX-5.